Ready? How are you, my people? English time. No more Spanish. Switch to English. Yes, sir. Where are you? Hello.
Hello, Peter.
There. What's up, Benji?
What's up?
How was your day?
It was relaxed,
It was relaxed.
all normal.
Good.
General.
Good. Okay. What about Caesar? How was your day?
Hello, teacher.
Hi.
Good, good day. Today I went to my office.
Okay. Nice. So you have some traffic, some sun, some hot,
Some sun and some people in the subway.
and some people in the subway. Exactly. But you're finally home.
Oh,
No?
yeah.
Fresh with a shower. No?
Yeah. After the class, I took a shower.
Cool. That's very nice. Very good, man. Very good. And what about Brian? How was your day, man?
Hello.
What's up?
Same as every day. No
Same as
news.
every day. Jesus Christ. So much emotion and passion in your in your in your expression. Wow. Well, you are a man of routines.
Yeah,
That's a very nice thing. No?
I think so.
So much emotion, eh? Wow. No excited at all. Come on, man. You have there we have a lot of positive things. Um, for example, Black Mirror. Have you watched Black Mirror?
I watched the first season, maybe.
And you didn't like it?
So so,
So.
but I don't have um time enough, maybe.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. It's kind of hard. Kind of hard sometimes. Well, I recommend you the new season.
Okay, I will
Yes,
try.
in English, of course.
Of course.
All right. Okay, my people, let's watch this today. It's Tuesday, and it's today it's Tuesday. Where is Tuesday? Here, over here. Tuesday and Wednesday, and we are supposed to do some writing. Okay, the problem is that we are going to have very short time to practice because your exam starts on Thursday. So Thursday and Friday, we are going to do the exam. Thursday is going to be the writing and the reading, and Friday is going to be speaking and listening. So we have only today and tomorrow to practice, to finish the level, to finish the objectives, and bye-bye. Let's go to the advanced course or intermediate, upper intermediate course. So it's super important to cover very interesting situations today. And we are going to focus on use of language. Okay, this is going to be our focus. Use of language. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, teacher.
Yes.
Very good. This level, the objective in total is to avoid avoiding thinking, no, avoiding mistakes that occur when we are translating. Okay, that was the principal objective of the level. That's why the name of the level is thinking in English, learning to think in English, right? This is supposedly the objective of the level. And one of the first things that we studied to avoid mistakes of this class was, for example, false cognates, right? Because a very common confusion that we have is when we confusing actually versus currently. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
And there was others. There was other things. For example, confusing remember versus record, which sound very similar in Spanish, but this is not real in English. In English, we don't say it like that. Okay. Apart from that, we also covered some useful expressions, some very useful adjectives, like positions of adjectives. We studied position of adjectives that really determine the way we use them when we are speaking, you know, because we usually translate incorrectly when we say, for example, I don't know, translating mecanismos eléctricos, for example, to mechanisms electrics, which is actually incorrect, right? We studied that adjectives are different in English. We studied that the position is different in English, and the correct form is, what is the correction?
Mhm. Mhm. Electric.
Electric. Mhm.
Mm,
Electric what?
electric mechanisms doesn't exist.
Yes, it exists. Mechanisms.
Okay. Electric mechanisms.
Mechanisms. Probably this is new vocabulary for you, but the word mechanism exists. It's
Okay.
right here. Mechanism.
Mechanism.
Only that this is B2. Of course, it's a little bit difficult.
Mechanism. Okay.
So the position of the adjective, the correct position of the words, the description is very, very important when we communicate with adjectives and other things. Also, this includes the position and usage of adjectives. So we need to consider, what's the name of this? Any, some, the, what was? Any, some, no, and what was the other one? Any, some, no, many and much. Four different expressions that we usually have many, many mistakes because we are thinking in Spanish. Using the word any is not equivalent to Spanish. Using the word some is not equivalent to Spanish. We cannot ask a question using some. We cannot make an affirmation using any. right? All these strategies are the ones that we attacked in the past. Well, I want to teach you something new today. Today, we will finish this course. This course's objectives with number one, what happens when we think of the connector, the Spanish connector, de. And number two, what happens when we start a sentence with a verb? Those are the two final objectives that I want to check with you in this moment. The most important thing is the objective. What is the objective? Don't make Spanish translations that affect the correct English production. In other words, don't speak Spanglish, you know? Trying to avoid speaking in Spanglish. Okay? So let's go through the first one. The first one is the connector de versus English and Spanish. How do you translate the word de in Spanish? In English, sorry.
Off.
Right. Good. And we established in previous classes that the word of is very important, no? The word of is the connector of, does anyone remember?
Nouns.
Excellent. The standard connector of nouns. Very good. This is the standard connector for nouns. Very good. Taking that into consideration, we can establish that every time we are using this in Spanish and in English, we need to have two nouns in both languages. For example, we have, when we say, I don't know, el patio de mi casa es particular. In English, oh, how do you say patio, teacher?
How do you say patio? Is floor?
Exactly. Okay, let me show you. There are two. Yard.
Yard?
Yard.
Backyard.
It's a difference. Backyard is in the back. Backyard.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Okay.
Exactly. A yard is a garden in British English. You see? So how do you say that in English? El patio de mi casa in English?
The yard
The yard
of my house.
of my house. Exactly.
Is particular.
It's particular. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. That's not incorrect, eh? That sounds acceptable. Mhm. The yard of my house is particular. In Spanish, Me encanta el helado de McDonald's. How do you say that in English?
I love the ice cream of McDonald's.
Good. Nice. So that seems like very easy translations, right? One last one. We say las papas de Popeyes son mejores que las de McDonald's. Vamos a hacerlo más comercial. Sí, pero this is in Spanish. How do you say that in English?
Yes, but potatoes of Popeyes are better than McDonald's.
Excellent. Potatoes is the vegetable. That is not correct for the specific potato, like the ones you have in McDonald's
Ah,
that are already cut and fried.
is something like fries.
Fries.
Fries something.
Yes.
Only fries?
Only fries.
Okay.
Only fries. Yes, of course. Let's take a screenshot of the word. Fry. No. This is a verb. We have the fries. French fries. French fries, but only fry. That's
French
also
fries.
possible.
También fry, okay.
A long thin piece of potato fried in oil or fat, and this is B. I don't know where is the level. There is no level. But yes, fries.
Okay.
Let's call it B1 because the verb fry is B1, no? Yes. The verb fry is B1, so let's consider it appropriate for this lab.
Teacher, it's possible says the
To say,
sentence
it's possible.
to
It's
say
possible to say.
the sentence the other form. For example, the yes, but fries of Popeyes as better as McDonald's.
As better as? No. Never use the connector as with a comparative.
Oh my God.
No, we never do that. We use it with a normal description, as good as, but that's a different meaning.
Okay. I have my last English teacher. That's very bad.
Yes, probably. No, don't call him that. You know, that's not ethical. But the probably you need to make a difference between descriptions and comparatives. It's different. You know, when you say good is not similar to better, or tall is not similar to taller. No? So probably the teacher was teaching you comparisons, but you need to pay attention on the description. The description is probably a normal description, as good as bad as, and the complete phrase is a comparison. You see?
Okay, but only in adjectives.
Yes, of course.
Okay,
Exclusively. Also adverbs, but this is for the next level.
okay.
So that's precisely the point. The word in this case, what we are trying to check is the connector of. Okay.
Okay.
What I want you to check and what I want you to focus is that technically this is A1 production. A1 and A2. You know, so technically we are in this particular case, we are dealing with Jesus Christ extraction. Yes. This production of English is technically beginner. You know, we are not talking about B1 in this case. We are talking about A2 because a proper intermediate speaker uses a different construction of the sentence. For B1 production, we need to apply the apostrophe S. To express, connect, to avoid the connector of. So a B1 intermediate doesn't say the yard of my house. The B1 intermediate says my house's yard. Oh my God, that's very short, you see? That's shorter, more efficient, but it's very, very important to speak the pronunciation correctly. Houses. Pronunciation, my houses. Yard. What happened to the connector of? Well, the connector of disappears. Bye-bye-bye. Okay. The correct pronunciation is houses. So in the same concept, let's try to translate the other two. How do you say, I love the ice cream of McDonald's in B1 intermediate? Go, Benji.
I love McDonald's ice cream.
I love Mac pronunciation.
McDonald's
Exactly.
ice cream.
Ice cream. Exactly. The name of the restaurant have the apostrophe S. So technically we are using the same structure, not extra S, and not necessary to use a connector of. All right. The same way. Yes, but price of Popeyes, but the price of Popeyes, which in English is Popeye, okay? It's not Popeye. Popeye is Spanish. It's Popeye. Popeye the Marine. Okay? So
Okay.
practice it in English. How do you say, yes, but the fries of Popeyes are better than McDonald's? Help me, Jessica. How do you say that in B1 intermediate?
Yes, but Popeyes, Popeyes fries are
Popeyes
better
fries. Mhm.
are better than McDonald's than McDonald's.
That's correct. Very, very good job. As you can see, there is a massive difference between one and another, right? In A2, a speaker of A2 learns how to translate the to off, and this is A2. But on the other side, for B1, we apply the S, the apostrophe S, to speak about it. And in the exam, I strongly suggest that you use the apostrophe S. Very, very strongly. Any question?
I have a question.
Elsie?
McDonald's
Mhm.
have apostrophe.
Right.
When you translate, how can I explain now? I have two apostrophes, but I have to ignore one, or
Exactly. You need to ignore one. It's like you cannot have double apostrophe. So in the case of the restaurant,
Mhm.
is easy because we have the apostrophe S and you finished, you know.
okay.
But in the case of my house, for example, then it's necessary to add the S. So it's easy to ignore the S. In the case of a restaurant, it's not necessary to add a second.
In the name of the McDonald's,
Yeah.
it has a meaning?
Does it have a meaning?
Does it have a meaning?
Of course, of course. It's the same as the connector of,
Okay.
because we say McDonald's restaurant, right?
Okay.
And technically is the restaurant of Mr. McDonald.
Okay. Thank you.
You see? If you see the history here, the name of the creator of McDonald was Richard and Maurice McDonald. No es. You see? When we create the restaurant, is the restaurant of the brothers McDonald. Like the Warner Brothers. And at the end, when you create the restaurant, it becomes McDonald's with apostrophe. Mhm.
Thank you.
So that's a very important lesson before the exam because it's super, super important. The connector of is omitted when you are talking about possession, or we are talking about creation, or we are talking about belonging, when two things belong together. So when to use it? When to use apostrophe before S. It's about possession. It's about belonging. And it's about two girls' dresses. Well, only that.
Teacher,
Punctual-
mm,
yes.
nationality.
Nationality, for example. Are you there? Teacher?
Yeah. Mexican's food.
No, never. Never, never, never. We only use it for names and belonging. When it's about possession. In this case, it's difficult because yes, we possess the food, Mexicans food, but the problem is that Mexican, okay. No. Let me help you. Common errors. Let's talk about common errors. We need to consider that the word Mexican is an adjective. And we only use the apostrophe S with nouns. Okay, so never use apostrophe S with nationalities because nationalities are adjectives. All nationalities are adjectives. All, completely, 100%. Got it? Another one. Another common mistake is to use apostrophe S after a name that ends with S. For example, give me a name that finishes in S. Carlos. Carlos ends in S. Carlos is car. We never use an additional S after the name of the owner ends in an S. The correct form in this case is Carlos apostrophe, no letter, and then the object. Pay a lot of attention in the correction in this case. Do you see that there is no S, no extra S?
Teacher,
Yes.
this example is similar to McDonald's.
Kinda. No. It's different because in the case of McDonald's, McDonald's is, the name is McDonald only.
Okay.
You see? And then apostrophe S is to express possession. In this case, Carlos ends in an S.
Okay.
Another
Teachers.
can be Laurita, tell me.
En el caso de la Mexican food, ¿cómo sería lo correcto?
Mexican food, only Mexican food, as you said. Correction, Mexican food.
Okay. No
Because-
necesaria es.
Of course. Yes, there is no adjective with apostrophe S. Only nouns, exclusively. And the last one. A common error too is the ends for storage. That's it. People's cry. Mars moons. Oh, yes. In Spanish, for example, look at this. Las lunas de Marte. Marte, the planet. Do you know the name of the planet in English?
Mars.
Mars. That's correct. It ends with S. So it's Mars, apostrophe, moons. Careful with the pronunciation. When you are talking about apostrophe S, the apostrophe at the end has a pronunciation. Add an additional is. Add an additional is. In these cases. How do you pronounce Carlos? Can you tell me what is the pronunciation in this case?
Carlos.
And the extra syllable? Close.
Carlos's.
Carlos's. Very good.
Okay.
Even also Mars's.
It's also Mars's. Very good.
Okay.
Carlos's. Mars's. What a surprise, no? Mars's. Let me find other examples, no? Apostrophe. Table students. One bus. Two bus. But how do you say the house of the bus in English?
Boss's house.
Exactly. My bus's house. Oh, yes. Welcome to real English, my people. This is new stuff, very important for your writing. When you are giving writing and for the speaking, because if you are speaking and you use apostrophe, you need to pronounce it correctly. That's pretty much, pretty much it. Okay, as an additional information, let me help you with some extra words that are usually used without apostrophe. You know, can I pass to the next slide? So in the next slide, we're going to use some examples that don't need the apostrophe. In the case of, for example, if you say in Spanish, la clase de inglés, or el cóctel de frutas, o una línea de código una línea de código. How do you say all these three in English? Does anybody know?
The first one is English class.
Exactly. Incomplete. A specific English class?
The English class.
Excellent. The English class. Very good. In the second one?
Fritz's cocktail.
Incorrect. Look at this. You don't need the apostrophe.
Ah, okay.
How do you say it? Eliminate the apostrophe pronunciation.
The cocktail
Exactly.
of Fritz.
Nice, but now B1 vocabulary, B1 level.
Mm,
You know, in the previous slide, you switched it. Instead of the yard of my house, we eliminated the of, and we say my house's yard. It's
Okay.
inverted. You see, how do you say this one?
The Fritz's
Without
cocktail.
apostrophe?
Sorry,
Without the apostrophe?
but without the apostrophe is not possible. Yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
Mm, the fruit
Exactly.
cocktail. Okay.
Exactly. Why? Because the fruit doesn't possess the cocktail. It's,
Okay.
you see, it's an inversion. Inversion without possession. In the previous examples, I possess the house. But in this case, I do, the fruit doesn't possess the cocktail. It's only a description of the cocktail.
Okay.
You see, here we are not expressing possession, We are describing only. And usually, let's say, for example, Java. How would you say that in English? Una línea de código Java. How would you say that in English?
The
Perfect. Huh?
Java code line.
A Java code line. You are totally correct, Cesar. Very good, Mark. Look at how the connector off disappears. Bye-bye connector off. It's not necessary most of the cases. Take that as a note. Is there any question in this moment? I think that's pretty much it. That was easy peasy. So what we need to understand in a nutshell are 3 specific points. Number 1, try to replace the connector of with apostrophe S and inverting the nouns when you talk about possession. Number 2, be careful with nouns that end in S because they don't need an extra S. Finally, don't use apostrophe S when you are describing a noun with another noun. This doesn't express possession. And the examples that we have are pretty clear. Here we have my house's yard. I love McDonald's ice cream. The extra S is not necessary when the name ends in S. Just make sure to pronounce it correctly. That's the most important part. And the last one, we don't use the S when we are talking about descriptions, not possessions. That's part 1 in a nutshell. Easy English. Let's go. Can you the previous slides were useful, but I think this nutshell is very useful too. You should send that one too. That's the summary in a nutshell. Okay. Finally, to finish this class, I'm going to teach you part 2. But first, I want the screenshots. Do you have it or I take it? Okay, I can send it to you. This was part 1. Now, I am going to teach you part 2. Look at this, guys. Hablar inglés es importante. Of course, this is Spanish. Why are we speaking Spanish, teacher? Did you forget English or what? How do you say this in English? Does anyone? Can anyone tell me?
Talk English is important.
Nice. Okay. Can you repeat, Benji? Speak or spoke or what?
To talk
To
English
talk. Ah, okay. To
important.
talk English is important. Okay, that's one option. That's one option. Okay, okay. Does anybody have a different idea than Benji?
Speaking English is important.
Speaking English with ing. You say, right?
Yeah, speak in
Oh.
English.
Ah, speak in.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have several options. Let me write these these options because you have very good ideas.
Also, speak English is important.
Okay. So you say, Benji said, to talk English. It's important.
Talk. Yes.
Mitch says, speak in English. It's important. Okay. Also, you said, can you repeat, Mitch, the other option?
Speak English is
Speak English.
important.
So we eliminate the in, no?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Those are good ideas. Good ideas. Anyone else have a different idea?
Speaking with ing
With ing? You see,
Speaking
Brian, complete idea?
is important.
Okay. Mhm. That's it. What else? Caesar, do you agree with anybody else?
Yeah, I agree with Brian.
You agree with Brian? Okay. Who do you agree with, Laurita? In your case. You can. You're fighting with your cell phone. No problem. While Laurita activates the audio, tell me, Elsie, who do you agree with? Difficult, no?
I'm not sure.
I know, yes, this is so tricky. This is so tricky. That's precisely the issue.
Teacher,
Yes, Benji.
is possible to speak English are important?
That's definitely incorrect because, well, in a moment we're going to check why, but the word are represents plural. And here there is no plural here.
No, okay.
Aha. So anyway, if you say speak English is, or wait. Speak English are, that one is definitely incorrect because the are, not the principal issue. Okay. Let me show you. Oh, Laurita, perfect. You're ready. Who do you agree with? Okay, connection problems. Are you there, Laurita? Can you hear me? Okay, in a moment. Anyway, the correct one is thinking that the standard sequence, the person verb complement, right? You need technically the subject needs to be a noun. That is necessary. That is necessary for a sentence. And in previous classes, we saw how to transform a verb into a noun. How do you transform a verb into a noun?
With ing.
Ta-da! So you know who was correct, right? The correct process is to transform the verb into a person. What person? A noun. Persons are nouns or pronouns, names, concepts, and things, as we saw in previous classes, including activities. Activities are considered nouns, not verbs. When you are talking about a verb, but you don't refer to an action, you should, no, but you refer, let's eliminate the don'ts, to an activity, you should use the ing form, which says speaking English is important because the verb speaking is working as a noun, not as a verb. Every time you start a sentence with a verb, you need to use the ing for this reason. Okay. For example, if you want to translate construir una casa es más flexible que comprar una. That's in Spanish. How do you translate this into English using the previous information? Anyone?
Mm, mm. Building a house
Yes.
is more Flexible. Yes.
Correct. Mhm.
Than buying one.
Exactly. In ing building, ing buying, because both
Mhm.
are concepts, are activities, not verbs. Thinking in English is transforming a verb into an activity. Let's take a note on that. To think in English, you must know when a verb is an action and when it's an activity. This is definitely a B2 ability, a B1 ability, sorry.
Teacher,
Yes.
we can to distinguish
Eliminate
the
can.
verb. Sorry.
Eliminate to can we distinguish?
Okay. We can distinguish
Mhm.
that transform to verb noun
Mhm.
because it broke the rule person verb complement.
Exactly, brother. That's an excellent reference.
Okay.
Because person verb complement is the standard, and if you use the verb, it's verb complement. No?
Yeah.
That is a very good logic. Very, very good logic. Necessary the person. So we need to transform the verb into one.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
That was a very good logic. I liked that strategy. I can copy like this, and we can say, for example, if we go here, we can collocate this. When we say verb complement, this is incorrect. Very good, man. Very, very good. Another production issue. Let's say, me encantaría vivir en California con Megan Fox en mis brazos. How do you say that in English? Me encantaría vivir en California.
Loving.
Loving, ing. This is in this moment.
Okay. I would. I would
Yeah,
like.
excellent.
So I
Imagine the
would
situation.
love.
Excellent. I would love.
I would love.
Mm,
Living
in
in California.
California. Exactly. Very good, man. Very, very good. Attention here. The word living is not the subject in this case, but in previous classes, we studied that verbs love like, hate, dislike, etc. are used before hobbies and activities. That's the reason, in this case, we need to use the ing, because the verbs love, like, hate, and dislikes are always used before an ing. So this is living, and this is building, and this is buying. The theory behind this is this. Let me give you this information. Okay. Please help me with the reading. Elsie.
The green,
Yes.
Bob?
The green section.
the theory behind this, the gerund is a verb that works as a noun, referring to an action and process or a state. In this case, a verb doesn't represent the verb section of the sentence. We can use gerund as the subject of the sentence. Some of the most commonly used gerunds are building, buying, living,
And others, etc.
mm,
You see? The gerund is a verb that works as a noun. Theoretically, that is the explanation. If you Google, hey, ing, positions of ing, don't confuse an ing verb with a gerund. The gerund is a noun. The ing verb is a verb. Difference between them. And those are the two parts. Finally, I need you to screenshot the following slide, because this specific slide speaks about specific verbs that we use with ings. Okay? So take a note on this specific slide. The verbs admit, avoid, consider, delay, deny, insist on, keep, mention, practice, recommend, resist, suggest, finish, discuss, and of course, love, like, enjoy, mind, feel like, stand, imagine, fancy, and mind. This list is a specific list that needs an ing. Let me help you with this example. Let me finish writing this essay, and I'll be with you. We're here to discuss the writing of your essay. Same thing. I sent that on the WhatsApp, and this is the theory for today. Because what we are going to do tomorrow is to practice this. That's the plan. So the two parts were easy today. Part 1, talking about of, and part 2, using the ing to replace a verb in Spanglish. Do you have any question? No?
No, teacher.
All right. Be careful in the chat. In the chat, somebody told me Kentucky's Fried Chicken. No, it's not Kentucky's. Okay. That's only, no apostrophe, yes. McDonald's, yes, but Kentucky's no. All right, my people. I will see you tomorrow. Have a very good night and study this to practice. Okay?
Okay, teacher. Teacher, you have a minute?
Sure. Yes, of course.
Okay.
Thank you. See you, everyone.
See you later, guys. Bye-bye.